I'm Susan, and as I sit here, reflecting on the whirlwind of emotions that swept through my life not long ago, I feel a profound need to share my story. It's a tale of love, betrayal, and the quest for freedom. A story that might resonate with anyone who has ever felt cornered by circumstances. Just days before what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, my world came crashing down. I had been with my high school sweetheart, the man I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. We had planned every detail of our wedding together, from the quaint little church on the edge of our town to the delicate lace on my dress. But life, as I was about to learn, rarely follows the plans we lay out for it. The discovery of his unfaithfulness came as a brutal shock. I found out not through a friend or a stray message, but by seeing him, the love of my life, in the arms of another. The pain was sharp, an acute sense that is hard to put into words. It wasn't just the betrayal that stung, but the avalanche of doubts it unleashed about all the moments we had shared. Was any of it real? In the midst of my heartbreak, my parents, unaware of his betrayal, pressured me to go forward with the wedding. It's just cold feet, they said. All couples have their ups and downs, they argued, but how could I stand before those who loved me and vow to cherish someone who had shattered my trust so carelessly? I felt trapped, suffocated by the expectations of a life I no longer wanted. Each day that drew closer to the wedding felt like a step further into a prison of my own making. I needed an escape, a way out that didn't involve sacrificing my happiness for the sake of appearances. Little did I know, help was about to come from the most unexpected source during a chance encounter that would change everything. This is my story, a bedtime tale of finding oneself amid the ruins of what was once a fairy tale. As the wedding day loomed closer, my restlessness reached its peak. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't think straight. Everything around me was a reminder of the shackles I was about to willingly step into. One afternoon, in a desperate attempt to clear my mind, I found myself in a quaint little cafe on the outskirts of town, a place I had never visited before. That's where I met Ajit. He was sitting alone, his attention captured by a book, exuding a calm that contrasted sharply with the storm raging inside me. His presence was enigmatic, almost out of place in the mundanity of our small-town life. Driven by an inexplicable pull, I took the seat opposite him, and what started as casual cafe chatter soon delved into deeper, more meaningful territories. Ajit listened, not just heard, but truly listened, with a kind of empathy that seemed to reach out and gently unravel the knotted fears and doubts within me. He spoke little about himself, yet his words carried the weight of wisdom, often hinting at a past that had seen much and learned even more. As we talked, I felt a strange connection forming, an invisible thread woven by his compassionate understanding. In a moment of reckless courage, or perhaps driven by sheer desperation, I found myself asking him the most bizarre question: would you marry me? I meant it as a means of escape, a wild, half-formed idea to break free from my impending marriage. To my surprise, Ajit agreed. The next few days were a blur. We organized a quiet ceremony, far from the prying eyes of those who knew me. It was simple, almost austere, but it felt right. As I stood there exchanging vows with Ajit, a part of me worried I had just jumped from one mistake into another. Yet his reassuring smile told me maybe, just maybe, this was where I was meant to be. Living with Ajit was an adjustment. Each morning, I woke up questioning my decision, my heart heavy with doubt. But as days turned into weeks, Ajit's kindness began to heal the scars left by betrayal. He never pushed me to share more than I was comfortable with. Yet our evenings were filled with conversations that slowly stitched my tattered spirit back together. We shared stories of our childhoods, our dreams that had been tucked away, and our fears that lingered in the shadows. Ajit's support was unwavering, his belief in me stronger than any doubt I harbored about myself. In him, I found not just a husband, but a true partner, someone who respected and understood me on a level I had never experienced before. As our relationship blossomed, so did my understanding of love, not as a cage built by societal expectations, but as a sanctuary of mutual respect and understanding. Ajit taught me that true connections are built on the foundations of authenticity and emotional support, and together we began to weave a new story, one where I could be unabashedly myself. In Ajit, in our little world we had created, away from all I had known, I found the courage to redefine my understanding of love and freedom. This part of my life, this unexpected chapter, was about discovering that sometimes the most profound bonds are formed not through years of acquaintance, but through moments of genuine human connection. Life has a peculiar way of reminding us that we are never truly in control. Just when I began to feel secure in the new life I had built with Ajit, fate delivered yet another unexpected blow. One evening, as I returned home from a short walk, a routine that had become my daily moment of solitude, I found the front door slightly ajar, a silence looming in the air that was unlike any other day. Stepping inside, I called out for Ajit, but only my echo responded. A sinking feeling took hold as I searched the house, each empty room amplifying my growing panic. It was when I reached our bedroom that I saw it, an envelope placed neatly on the pillow we had shared. Inside was a note from Ajit written in his careful hand. The note was brief. Ajit explained that he had to leave abruptly. There were no details, just a vague mention of needing to resolve issues he had hoped were in his past. He ended with a hope, a wish for me to find the freedom I deserved. That was it. No goodbye, no promise of return. The initial shock quickly gave way to a torrent of emotions. Betrayal, confusion, and an overwhelming sense of abandonment washed over me. Hadn't I just escaped one heartbreak, only to find myself in another? But as the days passed, with silence filling the spaces where Ajit's laughter once resonated, I began to see this not just as a loss, but as a part of my journey. In the solitude that enveloped me, I reflected on everything that had transpired, from the pain inflicted by my former fiancé to the healing brought by Ajit's presence. Ajit, with his enigmatic past and wise words, had shown me a love that was all-encompassing, unconditional. He respected me as an individual, listened to my stories, and supported my dreams, something I had never fully experienced before. This period of introspection brought clarity. Ajit had given me a rare gift, a glimpse of what it meant to be truly valued and loved. His sudden departure, though painful, couldn't erase the lessons learned or the growth experienced. I realized that my moments with him had not only healed old wounds, but had also reinforced my understanding of self-worth. Sitting alone in the home we had briefly shared, I found strength in my newfound solitude. I had been through abandonment before, but this time was different. I was no longer the same woman who felt trapped and helpless. I was learning to stand alone, not as a victim of circumstances, but as a bearer of my own freedom. Ajit's final words in the note echoed in my mind. Find the freedom you deserve. Perhaps this was exactly what he intended, to set me on a path where I could discover the full extent of my own strength and independence. His absence was painful, yes, but it also served as a catalyst for a deeper, more profound journey of self-discovery. Weeks drifted by, each day layered with the quiet introspection that had become my solace. As the sharp pangs of Ajit's departure dulled into a steady ache, a peculiar event unfolded that would again stir the calm waters of my life. It was a cloudy afternoon when a knock at the door jolted me from my thoughts. A courier handed me a small, unassuming package, no return address, just my name written in a familiar, careful script. With trembling hands, I opened the package. Inside was a stunning diamond ring, its facets catching the faint light, casting prisms on the walls of my dim room. Beneath the ring lay a letter, its contents written in Ajit's unmistakable handwriting. As I unfolded the paper, his words seemed to leap out, heavy with emotion and revelations that would forever change my understanding of the man I had briefly called my husband. Ajit began by confessing his past as a small-time thief, a detail of his life he had kept hidden beneath layers of the wise and comforting persona I had known. He wrote of his struggles, his efforts to leave behind a life of misdemeanors, seeking redemption in the quiet life we had started to build together. The diamond ring, he explained, was not a symbol of love bought with honest savings, but the spoils of his last job, a job he had undertaken to secure what he believed could be a future for us, free from want and worry. However, as he planned his final heist, a profound realization dawned on him. The life he was trying to escape was too entangled, too risky to ever provide the peace and security he wished for us. He couldn't bear the thought of his murky past catching up to us, of it shattering the pure and honest bond we had started to form. In his letter, Ajit expressed a heart-wrenching decision. He chose to disappear, to protect me from the chaos that followed him like a shadow. "I love you, Susan," he wrote, "more than I thought possible. But loving you means putting your safety and happiness first, even if it means stepping away forever." The ring, he explained, was left not as a reminder of his misdeeds, but as a token of what could have been, a life filled with love but shadowed by danger. As I held the letter, tears blurring the ink, a flood of emotions washed over me. Betrayal for the secrets he had kept, sorrow for the future we would never have, but more overwhelmingly, a deep, resonant love for the man who had risked everything, even his chance at happiness, to ensure I remained safe. The revelation of Ajit's past and his final act of love sparked a transformative realization within me. While the physical presence of Ajit had vanished, the impact of his love and the lessons he imparted were indelibly etched into my being. The ring, a symbol of both love and loss, now represented a pivotal decision point in my life: to hold on to the past or to move forward, carrying the strength derived from love and the wisdom born of pain. As the sun broke through the clouds, casting light on the ring's brilliant facets, I knew what my next steps would be. Ajit's love had shown me the way, and now it was up to me to walk it. Not with bitterness, but with the courage and hope that his sacrifice had intended for me. The diamond ring, a dazzling testament to a love that was as fleeting as it was profound, lay in my hand, a symbol of everything Ajit and I had shared and lost. In the wake of his departure and the revelations that followed, I found myself at a crossroads, wrestling with decisions that would define the course of my future. Inspired by Ajit's final act of love and sacrifice, I realized that the true value of this ring was not in its material worth, but in what it could achieve if used for a greater good. It became clear that clinging to this last piece of our union would only anchor me to a past that could never be reclaimed. Thus, with a resolve strengthened by the love and lessons Ajit imparted, I made a choice that would honor his sacrifice and our shared dreams. I sold the ring and turned a lure of material wealth and societal expectations that had once threatened to define my existence. The money received, a substantial amount that could secure a comfortable life, was instead directed to a cause far greater than personal comfort. I donated every penny to local charities dedicated to supporting those who found themselves ensnared in situations like mine, trapped and helpless, yearning for a flicker of hope. This act of giving marked the beginning of a new chapter in my life. Motivated by my own experiences and Ajit's selflessness, I founded a community center right in the heart of our town. The center became a sanctuary for those battered by life's harsher realities, offering not just refuge but tools to help them rebuild and reshape their futures. Here, individuals could find counseling, career guidance, legal aid, and emotional support, a beacon for those lost in the darkness of their circumstances. As the community center flourished, so did my inner peace. With each person we helped, I felt a piece of my own heart heal, a testament to the transformative power of turning pain into purpose. The center was not just my way of giving back, but also a tribute to the man who had changed my life in ways I could never have imagined. I often found myself thinking of Ajit, wondering where his journey had taken him. In quiet moments, I hoped he had found his peace, just as he had helped me find mine. Our time together was brief, but the impact of our union was profound, echoing through the lives of those the center touched. As years passed, the story of how the center came to be, a tale of love, betrayal, sacrifice, and redemption, became something of a local legend. It served as a reminder that personal freedom was not just about making choices for oneself, but also about making choices that uplift others. Sitting in the garden of the community center, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of gold and orange, I felt a deep, abiding contentment. Ajit's love had taught me the importance of living authentically, of choosing paths that align with one's values and dreams. Though he was no longer part of my life, his spirit permeated every corner of the center, every life we touched, every hope we kindled. This was not just my story or Ajit's, but a story of all those who dared to seek freedom and love in places they never expected. It was a bedtime tale of resilience and renewal, a reminder that sometimes The end of one story is just the beginning of another.